Hello my dear children, how are you all? I hope you all very fine. So today we are going to see chapter 7 from geography and one more lesson we will be seeing together. So since they are connected, the lessons both have similar factors, we are going to see together, okay? So before going to the lesson, take a rough note and pen, take rough notes while you are listening the class. So that will help you a lot. Take in what you are understanding, what you are feeling important, just note down, okay. So let's start. So what's the chapter name? Our country, India. So what is our country? India is our country, okay. So let's start. First we will see an overview. We are going to see about our country, right? First we are going to see how it is, what are the boundaries it have, distance, everything we are going to see now, okay. So first, India is a country of vast geographical expanse bounded by the lofty Himalayas, Arabian Sea, the Bay of Bengal and the Indian Ocean. So India is a big and have different geographical conditions, and it is bounded by lofty Himalayas, then Arabian Sea, the Bay of Bengal and the Indian Ocean. So what are the things India bounded by? First, lofty Himalayas, Arabian Sea, the Bay of Bengal and the Indian Ocean, okay. So one mountain and 3 seas, okay. India has an area of about 3.28 million square kilometer. So how much area India has? 3.28 million square kilometer. So you are clear with this? Very good. So next, the north-south extent to north, from north Kashmir to south Kanyakumari. So the distance between Kashmir to Kanyakumari is about 3,200 kilometer. How much, my dear children? 3,200 kilometer. And from east to west, from Arunachal Pradesh to Gujarat, the distance is about 2,900 kilometer. So how much, my dear children? 2,900 kilometer. Okay children, very good. Next, the lofty mountains, the great Indian desert, the northern plains, the uneven plateau surface and the coast and islands present a diversity of landforms. So everywhere we cannot find same kind of landform. It is different anywhere. Somewhere we can find mountains, somewhere desert, somewhere plains and somewhere plateaus, sea, everything we can see. We can see different type of landforms, okay, and a variety of climate, different kinds of vegetation, different wildlife, and we speak different language, we have different culture. So we have many diversity. Even though we have unity, we have many diversity, okay. India has a population of more than 120 crores since the year 2011. So in 2011, we have more than 120 crores. How many? 120 crores population. India is the second most populous country of the world after China. So after China, we are the second. We have more population, more number of people, okay. Then location setting. India is located in northern hemisphere. So in which hemisphere our India is located? India is located in northern hemisphere. Northern hemisphere. The Tropic of Cancer, that is 23 degree 30 north, okay. So 23 degree 30 north, okay. That passes almost halfway through the country. And from south to north, mainland India extends between 8 degree 4 north and 37 degree 6 north latitudes, okay. Then from west to east, India extends 68 degree 7 east and 97 degree 25 longitudes, okay. So due to great longitudinal extents of about 29 degree, there could be wide difference in the local time of places located at two extreme points of India, okay. As said, the difference between these 2 points would be of about 2 hours, Okay. So, India is located in which hemisphere? Northern hemisphere. Then from south to north, it extends between 8 degree 4 north to 37 degree 6 N latitude. And from west to east, 68 degree 7 east to 97 degree 25 east. So, here the difference is about 29 degree. So, in between the two places, there will be variation in time. Okay. Then we are going to see about India's neighbors. India's neighbors nearby India, what are the countries? There are 7 countries that share land boundaries with India. So, how many countries that share land boundaries? With the land, they have boundaries. How many countries, my dear children? 7 countries. Okay. Political and administrative divisions. So, politically India, how it is divided, and administrative divisions, everything we are going to see now. India is a vast country, big country, divided into 29 states. How many states? 29 states and 7 union territories. So, India has 29 states and 7 union territories. Telangana became the 29th state. So, recently Telangana that became the 29th state of India on 2nd June 2004. 2nd June 2014. Okay, 2nd June 2014. Okay, children. And it was previously a part of Andhra Pradesh. So, before 2014, it was a part of Andhra Pradesh, and after 2014, Telangana became a separate state. Understood, children? So, when it was separated? 2nd June 2014, not 2004, it is 2014. Okay. And Delhi is the national capital. So, for India, Delhi is our capital. Our country has one capital, that is Delhi. Okay. These states have been formed mainly on the basis of languages. So, how these states are formed? Mainly on the languages they speak. Okay. For Tamil Nadu, we are speaking Tamil. Kerala, they are speaking Malayalam. So, mainly based on the language, the states formed. Physical divisions. So, India has diversity of physical divisions, physical features such as mountains, plateaus, plains, coast, islands. We have many different physical features. Okay. So, Himalaya means the abode of snow. So, what does Himalaya mean? Himalaya is a mountain we have. Okay, that means the abode of snow. Okay. Snow you all know, right? Icely covered. The Himalayan mountains are divided into 3 parallel ranges. So, how much division it was divided? Himalayan mountains are divided into 3 parallel ranges. Ranges means more mountains together. Okay. So, that are on a line, arranged in a line, that is called mountain range. So, Himalayan mountains are divided into 3 main ranges. The northernmost is Great Himalaya or Himadri. The world's highest peaks are located in this range. So, world's highest peak, okay, that edge highest, that are located in this range only. So, the northernmost is called Great Himalaya or Himadri. The middle Himalaya or Himachal lies to south of Himadri. So, south we have middle Himalaya or Himachal. The northern Indian plains lie to the south of Himalayas are generally level and flat. They are formed by alluvial deposits lie down by the rivers, the Indus, the Ganga, the Brahmaputra and the tributaries. The river plains provide fertile land for cultivation. That is the reason high concentration of population in these plains. So, which plain, my dear children? The northern Indian plains. The northern Indian plains. So, that lies to the south of Himalaya. That places are very flat and that is formed by alluvial soil deposit that are settled down by the rivers like Indus, Ganga, Brahmaputra and their sub-rivers, okay, branches. So, this land is good for doing cultivation, very fertile land, okay. So, that is why we can find more population in this place. Why we are finding more population in those places? Because that land is good for doing cultivation, fertile land. For doing agriculture, it is the best place. So in those places we can find more population. Understood children? What is the plain we are seeing now? Northern Indian plain. Okay children? Very good. In the west part of India lies the great Indian desert, dry and hot and stanky stretch of land. So in western part of India, there we have one great Indian desert. Okay, you know, right? It is very dry, hot and sandy stretch of land. Okay. To the south of northern plains lies peninsular plateau. There we have one plateau that is called peninsular plateau. This is a region with numerous hills, ranges and valleys. Aravalli Hills, one of the oldest range of the world, border it on the northwest side. So Aravalli Hill is the oldest range of the world. That border on the northwest side. Northwest side we have that as a border. Then the Vindhyas and Satpuras are the important ranges. The rivers Narmada and Tabi flow through these ranges. So through these ranges two rivers flows. What are the rivers? Narmada and Tabi. These are west flowing rivers. They are flowing towards west that drain into Arabian Sea. So finally the river joins into Arabian Sea. The western Ghats or Sahyadri border the plateau in the west and the eastern Ghats provide the eastern boundary. So western Ghats they are in the west and eastern Ghats they provide the eastern boundary. Okay. This plateau are rich in minerals like coal and iron ore. So this plateau we can find more minerals like coal and iron. Okay. Then to the west of western Ghats and the east of eastern Ghats lies coastal plain. So in west of western Ghats there is one coastal plain, and in east of eastern Ghats there also one coastal plain. Okay. The western coastal plains are very narrow. That means very narrow, very not extended, it's like very wide, narrow. Okay. And east coastal plains are much broader, that are big. Okay. There are number of east flowing rivers. The rivers Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. So that west flow, we have seen Narmada and Tabi, they are west flowing river and they finally join to Arabian Sea. And here Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri, they drain into, they are east flowing rivers, they drain into Bay of Bengal. Okay. The Sundarban Delta is formed where the Ganga and Brahmaputra flow into the Bay of Bengal. So that Ganga river and Brahmaputra, they both flow into the sea, Bay of Bengal, right? In that place one delta is formed, that is Sundarban Delta. Lakshadweep Island are located in the Arabian Sea. Okay, one islands that are located, islands you know right, surrounded by sea. That land are located in Arabian Sea. There are coral islands located on the coast of Kerala. Okay. And Andaman and Nicobar Islands that lies to the southeast of the Indian mainland in the Bay of Bengal. So we have Lakshadweep Islands that are on the Arabian Sea, then Coral Islands that are on the coast of Kerala, and Andaman and Nicobar Islands that lies in the Bay of Bengal. Okay children, so that's all in the lesson. We have seen about our country India. So first we have seen our country is bounded by Himalayan mountain and Indian Ocean, Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea. Then we have seen the total area, then from north to south how much distance, and from west to east how much distance. Then we have seen we have many different types of climates, vegetations, different languages, and we have seen how many states we have, then what is our capital, India's capital. Then we have seen about how it is bounded and what are the plateaus, important plateaus we have, east flowing rivers, west flowing rivers. Okay, so that are the things we have seen in the lesson, our country India. Okay children, so now we are moving to same about India, climate, vegetation and wildlife. About India we are going to see deeply about climate, vegetation and wildlife. Climate, vegetation and wildlife. Okay children. First we are going to see about climate. So the major seasons recognized in India are cold weather season, hot weather season, southwest monsoon season, season of retreating monsoon. So first cold weather season, that is winter. Cold weather season, winter, that is from December to February. Then hot weather season, that is summer, that is from March to May. Then southwest monsoon season, that is rainy season, June to September. Then season of retreating monsoon, that is autumn, October and November. Okay, these are the seasons. A major season that are recognized in India, 4 major seasons. Okay, so first we are going to see about cold weather season or winter. Cold weather season or winter. So during the winter season, the sun rays do not fall directly in the region. So during winter season, the sun ray will not fall directly. Okay, so we will feel low temperature. We will temperature, low temperature. We will feel cool. Then hot weather season or summer. During this rays, the sun rays are more and directly fall, less directly fall in the region. So temperature become high and we feel hot. Okay. Then southwest monsoon season or rainy season. So this season is marked by the onset and advance of monsoon. Okay, children. So winds blow from Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal towards the land. So during this season, what will happen? Wind blow from Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal towards the land. Okay, then they carry the moisture with them. So when these winds strike the mountain, rainfall occurs. Okay, so during this season, wind blows from Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal towards the land. They carry moisture along with that, and when this wind strike the mountain, rainfall occurs. Okay, and season of retreating monsoon or autumn. So during this time, wind move back from land to the Bay of Bengal. So this is called retreating monsoon. That means from the land it's going back to Bay of Bengal. Wind is blowing, it is moving back. Okay. So this southern parts of India, particularly Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh, receive rainfall during this season. Okay. The climate is about average weather conditions, not cold, it's not hot, average moderate temperature. And this climate of India has been described as monsoon type. So monsoon is a word that is taken from Arabic word that means mawsim. So mawsim means season. Okay, children. And due to this, in the tropical region, most of the rain is brought by monsoon winds. Okay. So rain that is brought in monsoon by monsoon winds in the tropical region. The agriculture in India is dependent on rains. Okay. And if more rain, agriculture is good and will get more yield. Okay. And climate, a place climate is affected by its location, altitude, distance from the sea. So these are the factors affecting the climate. Okay, children. So therefore we experience regional difference in the climate. So not all over India we are having the same climate, right? We have different climate in different places in India. Okay, children, understood? Very good. Next, natural. We have seen about climate. Climate is over. So what are the things we have seen in climate? We have 4 major seasons. What are those? First one is winter, then we have seen summer, and then rainy season, and last autumn. Okay, we have seen about that detailedly. Okay, so now we are moving to natural vegetation. So what is natural vegetation? So natural vegetation means we see a variety of plant life. Plants we have seen, right? Small plants like bushes, shrubs we have seen. Then tall plants, very big trees we are seeing. Okay, like neem tree, mango tree. Okay, so we have seen grasses. So grasses also, some grasses, some shrubs, some trees that will grow independently without any help of human. Okay, that are called as natural vegetation. So without humans' help, the plants, animals, grasses are growing, right? So that is called as natural vegetation. Understood, children? Very good. So they depend on different climate conditions, different amount of rainfall falling. So according to that, the natural vegetation varies. Okay. So we have variety of natural vegetation. Next, Why are forests necessary? Why forest necessary? Yes, forests are very useful and perform variety of functions. Like plants release oxygen, right? So because plants is releasing oxygen, we are breathing that. Yes, we are breathing in oxygen. Okay, and we are breathing out carbon dioxide that is absorbed by plants, right? So to keep this balance, we need plants. The root of the plants bind the soil, thus they control soil erosion. So the roots of the plant, they are fixing in the soil, and because of that we can control the soil erosion. What is soil erosion? The top layer of the soil is eroded, taken away. We can prevent that. Forests provide us with timber for furniture. For making furniture we need timber, wood, everything. So from where we are getting? From forest. Then for fuel wood, fodder, for food, medicinal plants, everything we will get from forest. Forests are the natural habitat of wildlife, like all the animals, birds, they live more in the forest. So this is a natural habitat of wildlife. The natural vegetation has been destroyed to a large extent because of the reckless cutting of trees. So by cutting of trees, more natural vegetation is destroyed. Okay. So wildlife. So forests, they are the home for wildlife, like variety of animals like reptiles. Reptiles means the reptiles, amphibians, mammals, bats, insects, worms. So all kind of animals are living in the forest. Okay. So these all animals, they are living in the forest. They are the home for animals. What are the home? So this forest remain a home for animals. Okay. So tiger is our national animal. So what is our national animal? Tiger is our national animal. It is found in various parts of the country. Like Gir forest in Gujarat is the home of Asiatic lions. So Gir forest in Gujarat is the home for Asiatic lions. Then elephants and one-horned rhinoceros roam in the forest of Assam. Elephants, you all know elephants, right? They are also found in Kerala and Karnataka. Camels and wild asses are found in Great Indian Desert and Ran of Kutch respectively. Okay children, so these are the things we can find more in our Indian forest. Then which is our national bird? Peacock is our national bird. Then other common birds like parrot, pigeons, myna, geese, bulbul and ducks, that all we can find. These kind of birds also we can, variety of birds we can find in Indian forest. Then we have many bird sanctuaries also. So because of hunting animals and birds, then killing animals for getting the skin of the animal. So for food, so for many purpose these animals are hunted, and because of this large variety of snakes, animals, birds are getting, or we are losing those animals, birds and reptiles, many varieties we are losing. Those animals are becoming endangered species. Endangered species means that they are about to, that species itself we cannot find more, they are becoming extinct. Okay. So to protect animals, to protect birds, we have many national parks, sanctuaries, okay, and biosphere reserves. So protect everything, animals and birds, our government is making many steps like national parks, sanctuaries, biosphere reserves are set up. The government has also started Project Tiger and Project Elephant to protect these animals because they are becoming extinct. Extinct means their species getting getting cleared. Okay. So to save them, Project Tiger and Project Elephant is for protecting those animals. Okay children, so thank you children. So that's all for today's video. So in second part we have seen about India, climate, wildlife and vegetation. So in under climate we have seen 4 major seasons, and next we have seen about vegetation. So in vegetation we have seen what are the variety of vegetations we have, like plants, trees and how they are growing. And next we have seen about wildlife. So these are the things, what is our national animal, national bird, what are the main animals we can see in India, what are the different types of birds and animals. We have seen all those in today's video. Okay children, so I hope you have all taken notes, important notes while listening the class. So thank you children. If you have any doubt, just listen this video once again. You will clearly understand what is the topic. Okay. So thank you children. Thank you. Have a nice day.